Hi family, it's Becca Swisher here, early childhood parent educator and early childhood director. And I wanted to bring to you the idea of reframing or relabeling how you think about and label your child. We all do it. We label our children a billion jillion different things depending on their actions, how we feel, how they feel, how overwhelmed they are, how overwhelmed we are. It's part of life. And I wanted to invite you to just take a moment, though, to pause and think about how to bring out the best in your child and their skills and their traits and their abilities and yourself, and give yourself the best chance that you can to have a positive mindset when you think about your child. So I have a question for you, and that is, if you were to describe yourself, or if someone else were to describe you as a child, what word would they use? Think about it for a second. Okay, you probably have it. Some of you have thought of words like shy, quiet, busy, bossy. There's a lot of words that might come to mind, and usually we tend to think about kind of the words that are a little bit negative. And it's the same with our own kids. When we think about a label that we give our child, we might say, he can never hold still. She's always so shy and clingy. He just never listens. He's always so whiny. She just argues with me all the time. And we think about those things that kind of drive us nuts about that person. But here's my proposal to you. What drives us most nuts can also be something that it is an amazing trait and skill that your little human that you are raising has. So let's take bossy. Someone that you might be watching on the screen has been called bossy since she was a teeny tiny little person. Now, I was lucky enough to have parents who helped me develop skills of how to handle that bossiness. And the other side of that coin, from bossy becomes leader. They were able to equip me with skills and help me tone down when I use those leadership skills amongst my, 4-year-old friends, to be able to keep friends and become someone who now makes a living being a leader. And so I invite you to think of your child. Maybe your child is shy or quiet in the beginning. What's the positive side of being shy or quiet? It is so many things, and one huge one is that they typically are thoughtful kids. They're not going to be the child who runs across the street and you're having to go and scoop them up from that danger. They are thinking and watching and observing before they get into a situation. Now, you might have a dasher on your hand, someone who is climbing and adventuresome, and you might use the word naughty sometimes. And I will tell you that word, I've used it, but it's not my favorite. Our kids are learning and they get overwhelmed and they don't know the rules to this game we call life. And in the midst of all of that, we're trying to guide them, we're trying to keep them alive, and we want them to end up thinking positively about themselves. Now, let me turn that word for you. That might equal things like being adventurous and being willing to take risks and being willing to be curious. So those can be positive things. Maybe you have a child who tends to be a little on the messy side. We have one of these at our house too. She's a creator. She constantly is dragging out everything from the recycle bin to make projects. And oh my goodness, it's a mess. But you know what? She is so creative. She is always coming up with new ideas. She's innovative. She's a dreamer and a thinker. And isn't the world a more amazing place because of all of our personalities that are in it? So keep guiding your little person. And I really encourage you to look up, you can Google positive character traits. People use it when they're writing books and stories a lot. Google that list, positive character traits, and find a word that you can use to describe your child that you can really get lodged in your brain, so that even when you're feeling really overwhelmed and frustrated with them, you have that word to kind of hang on to. So You can do this. You're doing a great job. You are learning and growing. Your child is learning and growing, and they are so lucky to have you on their team. Keep it up.